So I mentioned to you guys numerous times that the near north side has been an area marked by significant, and I mean extremely visibly noticeable, gentrification over the past like 20 to 30 years. People that were there when it was still kind of a hood and like really gang infested war zone on the near north side, and I'm talking about like the Wicker Park, Bucktown area. If they held on to their house or their condo building, whatever it was they owned, which was dirt cheap back in like the 70s, 80s, if they held on to it through the 90s, they made a ton of money. So that's one thing that's happened to that neighborhood. And to be honest, I have never seen, like, ever, gang members hanging out at really any major intersection or spot in any of those neighborhoods, despite the fact that in some of the police manuals and stuff you might see them marked as gang territories. But you learn something new every day, man. And apparently there's a hood over there in Wicker Park, and the Latin Kings were having a gathering over there. And like I said, this is like a really up and coming area where a lot of young urban professional people with a lot of money have moved, especially in the last 10, 20 years. But even starting back in the 90s, man, a lot of development in that area. And they were doing gang stuff in this area. Well, I don't know if people know. I don't know if all you guys watching this video know, but behind those police cameras, okay, these are not the same as like security cameras in a store, like in, the corner store or whatever. Those, they're rolling, tape is rolling, or at least it should be rolling and recording. And if something happens, they can always go back, give that to law enforcement, and then they can review the tape. Okay, behind the cameras that are operated by CPD in the city, there's people watching those in real time. Okay, and if they see something, they can move on it right then and there in the moment. So, two Latin Kings, CWB Chicago is reporting, faced felony gun charges after cops located them inside Wicker Park. And this is not the Wicker Park neighborhood they're talking about. I mean, it is that, but they're talking about the actual park after which the neighborhood is named. And like I said, this is like a really nice area. And there was a, quote, gang disturbance. This is back on Sunday evening, according to their Chicago police arrest reports. So a guy named Oscar, he's actually from the suburbs, and a guy named Marco, he's from the north side, were released to await trial with nighttime curfews by the judge. And this is Judge David Kelly. He released these guys. They're both 19 years old, and you can see from their haircuts that they are gang members. Okay, the Latino guys in Chicago, they all get the shag hair. Well, not all, but many of them. They get the shag haircut when they're gang members. And, this is more of a south side thing, but these guys are from the north side, and or one of them is. One of them from the suburbs, and you can see that they've got this going on too. So that's a way. If you see a Latino guy with that haircut, he's in a gang. Period. Like, got Latino guys that are not in gangs, if they just like that haircut, okay, moms, if you're listening to this video, let's say your son just wants to get that haircut because he just likes it or thinks it's cool, or all the cool kids at school have it, he's risking his life for a haircut. Like, there's no way anybody that's not in a gang should have that haircut here in Chicago. So, Chicago police officers were patrolling the area following that gang disturbance. This is over by Division and Damon, a very nice area. Okay, 7 or 8 people were walking into Wicker Park. It's a triangular-shaped park over by Damon and Schiller. Okay, CBD surveillance camera operators had contacted the patrol units after they saw Oscar tuck a firearm into his waistband. Okay, so they were watching this on the cameras, the guys who were employed by CPD while this was going on. He immediately, contacted the patrol units after they saw him with his gun, okay, on camera. The officer said that they planned a, quote, coordinated approach to confront the group, which had gathered near the park's fountain at around 8:30 p.m. Okay, so that's a very interesting time for them to be doing this, because this is on a weekend, okay? And I know for a fact there's all these, like I said, urban professional people not involved in anything, a lot of them from out of town, a lot of them moved here from the suburbs or from other towns. Like, these are not originally Chicago people. I can hear it in their accents when they talk. Like, when you hear me talk, okay, this is like a typical Midwest accent, like for a white guy. The black people in Chicago have an accent that comes from the South. That's not originally a Midwest accent. Although their accent may have been affected a little bit for being here for so long. But the way you hear me talk, this is a typical Midwest accent. A lot of the whites and a lot of the Asians and Latinos and even some of the black people that don't have that Southern accent that have moved into this near North Side area in the past 10, 20 years, I don't hear that accent from them. I hear like a California accent or like a East Coast and something. I mean, it's like they have these accents from these different parts of the country, and so I mean, they're not. These are all not Chicago born and raised people, so they're in this area. Okay, usually on weekends at night. Okay, like usually on after 4 or 5. Okay, they start to pop out. They're at the restaurants. They're at the bars and stuff. These gang members are coming out like around prime time, like 8:30 p.m. They're not waiting till 2, 3 in the morning to do this. Okay, so police said that Oscar ran away as cops converged on the group. They caught him and recovered a loaded handgun with an extended ammunition magazine from his waistband. So the other guy also ran away. Cops said they saw him reach into his waistband and throw something toward a tree as he fled. They caught him and recovered a 9mm handgun, which was near the tree, according to his arrest report. So notes in both men's arrest reports state that they are, quote, self-admitted Latin King gang members. And now here's the interesting thing. From a set over by Damon and Crystal. Okay, Damon and Crystal is like I said, it's near North Side. That's not on the south side. And, I mean, Latin Kings have hoods up north, like all through the north and northwest side. But that is like right over here in this swank, like hip neighborhood. And I've never in my life, like I've been past that spot a million times. I told you guys I live off Damon, about a mile north of County Hospital. And every time I go down there, like to the medical district, I'm going down Damon because it's the most direct route. Not once in my life. And I've been there all times. Late at night, early in the morning. Never have I seen gang members out there. So I didn't even know that there was a set of Latin Kings over there. I checked the gang book, which has all the gang territories listed. And I showed that on my old channel one time. I showed, you guys a sample of the gang book that's, put out by the Chicago Crime Commission. They don't have them listed over there. So when they set up over there, if that's an old set or a new set, I don't know. Damon and Crystal, I had no idea there was Latin Kings over there, man. And I've never seen them out there in my life. But prosecutors charged both of them with unlawful use of a weapon in a park, aggravated unlawful use of a weapon, and aggravated unlawful use of a weapon by a person younger than 21. Okay, so they're doing this in this like swank upscale neighborhood, right there with the cameras right there. Like that's basically like going to the police station and turning yourself in. So another guy, a 28-year-old, his name was Enrique. He was arrested and charged with misdemeanor battery after he pushed and grabbed the arms of 2 cops who detained him for investigation. Police did not note any gang affiliation in his arrest report. Okay, so they didn't say that this guy Enrique is a king. However, he's got some tattoos, okay, and I'm not going to show them on. One of the tattoos is on his left hand. It says LK. There's also an upside-down 3-pronged pitchfork on his forehead, okay, which is, it's dissing the D's. And I don't know if that's for MLDs or SDs or who it's for, but, the folks, you drop the rakes. That's what it is. And then there's a crown, okay, on his left hand. So those are all Latin Kings, basically indicators. And, the dropped pitchfork could be anything that's, into it with the folks, but given the fact there's an LK and a crown, that's basically saying with tattoos that he's a king. So it appears that there was like this Latin King gathering in this park at 8:30 p.m. in this swank neighborhood, man. And this is kind of similar to what I was telling you guys about in that video where the Ambrose had caught the Latin King in the gay area. In Chicago, it can go down anywhere. I told you, there's a myth that I've heard some community activists speak about that, the violence is just contained in like these certain neighborhoods and the gang activity is just contained in like these poor urban ghettos. Not in Chicago. I don't know, maybe it's like that in other cities. Here, this thing permeates the entire city and it's going down everywhere. Downtown, up north, out west, over east, out south. You can't get away from this stuff nowhere. These guys are everywhere. Out in the suburbs, everywhere. So you guys let me know what you think in the comment section, man. But yeah, to all the gang members that are over there doing that, I can't see the rationale or the reason for having like a gang presence in that area. Because it's like, like I said, you might as well be doing it right in front of a police station. In that spot, Like, it's practically the same level of risk as far as getting caught. Like, they can't even pop out over there practically at all without, attracting the attention of the cops. It's kind of become like that in East Rogers off Morris. When I was living off Morris, the GDs used to be out there 24/7. I mean, 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. You go out there, you would see the GDs out there on the block, in front of there used to be like a fruit market over there on Morris. It's gone now, but they always used to be standing in front of there, harassing the females, harassing people that would be coming through there. Now you go by there, you can't see nobody out there. And the PBG members have said in interviews that, the police were constantly harassing them every time they would pop out and try to post up on their own block. Like, the police would be harassing them and basically kept that block clear as, residents started to move into the area from other parts of town and other towns. So, that's a very interesting situation that's going on the north side. On the south side, any of you guys from the south side can let me know, if you have seen this type of thing going on in, your neighborhood or any part where you're from. But up north, yeah, there's certain spots where it's like there's just too much heat. But even though the gang members complain about it, personally, I see it as a good thing because, like I've said a million times, these guys are human targets. Okay, they're out there having their meeting or whatever. They're not doing anything particularly bad, just out there having a meeting. But then the ops see them, they come through blowing, and everybody in the way gets shot, including little kids, old women, and everybody else. With the way these guys aim, everybody in the immediate vicinity is getting hit. So they're doing something dangerous by being there, right? I mean, that's the pattern that we see. So you guys let me know what you think down in the comment section, man. This is Bush Chicago News. I'm out.